Welcome back, SPC listeners. I know you don't appreciate me taking another 5-year hiatus, but man, life gets hectic when you're finishing up raising teenagers and getting into the thick of your career, so bear with me just a little bit. I am committed to finishing up the podcast around my primary training, and where it goes from there is still a mystery to all of us. We're getting closer to getting my ticket, so let's get started down the home stretch. Trust me, there will be some curveballs in there, so it'll get interesting. Okay, for this episode, The Little Things, or episode 42, I'll be on a solo flight to practice short field and soft field takeoffs and landings, minimum controllable airspeed, and stalls. So let's get started.
Chandler Tower, Cherokee 4121 Tango is at Chandler Air Service. We have Zulu, and we'd like a south departure, please.
What does it take to be an angel? Where does the sun go when it sleeps? Is every star that shines so brightly in the
All right, in case you can't remember exactly what was going on in the last episode from 6 years ago, let me recap it for you. I had started stage 4 of my training, which was the final stage of my training, with my long solo cross country. You can listen to that in 2 parts in episodes 39 and 40. I then flew with a different instructor. My normal instructor, if you remember, was Larry. I did some practice under the hood, minimum controllable airspeed with turns, shorts and softs practice, and more. You can listen to that episode, The Anonymous CFI, in episode 41. Now it was time for another solo. During this flight, I would be practicing short field and soft field takeoffs and landings, as well as minimum controllable airspeed again and some stalls. I really liked short field landings. It was fun to try and stick it and stop before the first turnoff. Also, there will be some interesting tidbits that happen during the flight that I'll point out. As one flies more and more, your awareness just sort of gets better and you pick up on things differently, maybe more keenly without really trying. I suppose that happens with everything that you practice a lot, but by this point in my training, while I wasn't always ahead of the airplane and I wasn't always keeping great situational awareness, it was happening more and more, and I was picking up on little things that just made me feel like I was getting it, that I was tuned in and expecting certain things without really thinking about it. So when something happens that doesn't fit, it stands out and I noticed it. It was really starting to feel like I was becoming a pilot. So let's get into it. As usual, here's the ATIS to get us started.
Wind 220 at 6, visibility 30, sky condition 25,000, scattered, temperature 27, dew point 19, altimeter 3003. Visual approach is in use, line departing runway 22 right, 22 left. Notice airmen multiple obstructions in the vicinity of Chandler Airport, up to 310 AJL. Caution bird activity in the vicinity of Chandler. Departures advise ground, direction of flight, advise initial contact information, Zulu. Chandler Airport information, Zulu, time 1448 Zulu. Wind 220 at 6, visibility 30, sky condition 25.
So I make my call to ground, and for whatever reason, the controller didn't hear my request or that I had the information. Yeah, I've used that old "you were breaking up" line myself, so I'll let it slide. This was one of those little things, though, that I was talking about earlier. Maybe early on in my training, I would have second-guessed myself, but in this case, I knew I had already said my intentions and let him know that I had the information. So when he asked again, my spidey senses went off. By the way, today I'll be in Cherokee 81658. Take a listen to my initial call.
Chandler Ground, Cherokee 81658 at Chandler Air Service. We have Zulu and would like to depart to the south.
Cherokee 81658, Chandler Ground, taxi to runway 22 right, via taxi Alpha November. Verify you do have the current ATIS Zulu and say request.
Yeah, maybe I cut out there. I do have Zulu, and I would like a south departure.
Cherokee 658, roger. Your transmission did break up, and taxi runway 22 right. Thank you.
Thank you. Taxi to 22 right, 658.
Good morning, Chandler Ground, Great Lakes 6247 Lima with Zulu to the active, and I'd like us southbound to the practice area, please.
Great Lakes 6247 Lima, Chandler Ground, good morning. Taxi to runway 22 right via taxiway Alpha November.
47 Lima, Alpha November to 22 right. Morning, Chandler Ground, Experimental 83 Lima Hotel at the northwest hangars, taxi with Zulu for southbound departure.
Experimental 83 Lima Hotel, Chandler Ground, good morning. Taxi to runway 22 right via taxiway Alpha November.
Alpha November 22 right, 83 Lima Hotel.
So while I was taxiing, a Great Lakes called the tower on ground frequency, but I think he must have realized it during the call as he sort of trails off a little bit. I wasn't on the tower frequency, so I'm just guessing here, but he probably immediately made a call on the correct frequency. Again, it was just one of those little things that I caught immediately. I heard the other pilot call the tower, but in the back of my head, I knew I was monitoring ground. So again, my spidey senses went off. And you hear me comment on it. Earlier in my training, I might not have even noticed.
Chandler Tower, Great Lakes 6247.
Still on ground. Got to switch to the tower there, buddy.
Chandler Ground, Comanche 6151 Papa at the transient ramp, ready to taxi to 22.
Cessna 21212, remain this frequency, taxi to runway 22 right via taxiway Alpha and November.
2 right via Alpha November 21212.
So I did the run up and switched to tower frequency. I'd be starting with a practice soft field takeoff. I made my ready call. Don't ask what was going on with my voice. Maybe I needed a drink or something. After all, it was summer in the Phoenix Valley. Anyway, I got my clearance and took off. I'll let the cockpit audio play a bit because it highlights another one of those times where I could just tell something was off without really thinking about it. There was another airplane, Cessna 21212, practicing there from presumably another flight school. And as they're reading back instructions at one point, they ended the transmission with Chandler. And you can hear me kind of laugh and say Chandler to myself. I'm guessing that the other pilot did a lot of flying and practicing at uncontrolled airports and was so used to finishing a transmission with the name of the field, he just did it automatically, even though this one is controlled. Again, it's not like I was concentrating on what other people are saying, but as you get a little experience, you just sort of hear it in the background and add it automatically to your situational awareness information. And so even though it wasn't front and center for me, when something was said that was amiss, again, my spidey senses went off, and I had a little private chuckle.
There's an RV6 right there. RV6.
Morning, Chandler Tower, Experimental 83 Lima Hotel, holding short of 22 right, and will be westbound.
Experimental 83 Lima Hotel, Chandler Tower, at the field boundary, right turn westbound approved, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
83 Lima Hotel, good to go, 22 right, airport boundary.
I'm going to do a soft field takeoff. Chandler Tower, Cherokee 81658 is ready to go on 22 right.
Chandler Tower, Great Lakes 47 Lima, southbound.
Great Lakes 47 Lima, just going to call you, left turn southbound approved. Cherokee 81658, fly runway heading, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff on 22 right, runway heading, Cherokee 81658.
Chandler Tower, Cessna November 21212, ready to take off, Chandler Tower.
This 21212, say your direction.
21212 is remaining in the pattern for landing and taxi back.
This is 21212, hold short of runway 22 right.
Holding short of 22 right, 21212.
Experimental 83 Lima Hotel, frequency change approved.
83 Lima Hotel, we'll hang with you for a bit, bye-bye.
Cessna 21212, make right traffic, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Cessna 21212, runway 22 right, right traffic, Chandler.
Chandler.
Cherokee 1658, left turn southbound approved.
Making a left turn, Cherokee 81658, thank you.
All right, we'll keep going as I run through some of my flows and talk to you all from the cockpit. Keep in mind I was flying early in the morning to try and beat the heat and thermals, and it was still already 85 degrees. I comment on my nice short field takeoff as well. As I do sometimes when there's a bit of traffic on the radio, I'll let this audio play a bit so you too can get a sense for what was happening that day in the vicinity of Chandler. I'll also comment from time to time on what I'm doing. As I was flying to the practice area, I climbed up to 4,000 feet. Interestingly, you'll hear an aircraft coming out of Stellar Air Park and wanting to transition west to east to Gateway. What's interesting about that is shortly after completing my training, I would end up joining an ownership club with 3 airplanes out of Stellar. So later, I would get a lot of time and practice for several years, in fact, from that little residential airfield. It'll always have a special place in my heart, but better than that, the airplane that was transitioning, a Cessna 182 66903 Mike, would be one of the airplanes that I would get most of my time in later. In fact, I would later fly that airplane to Oshkosh, but I didn't know any of that at the time, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It was just a little foreshadowing. Anyway, here you go.
Okay, traffic pattern altitude. We'll turn fuel pump off. And mixture is good. Leaned out. Nice day. Looks like about, oh, that temperature gauge is off. About 85 degrees now. And pretty calm. The off-field takeoff was pretty good, if I do say so myself. I'm going to go to 3,500 feet. Currently at 2,800, climbing.
Chandler Tower, Cessna 6693 Mike, out of Stella. We would like to transition your airspace to Gateway.
Aircraft calling Chandler Tower, say again.
This is Cessna 6693 Mike, out of Stella. We'd like to transition your airspace to Gateway.
Cessna 6693 Mike, Chandler Tower, transition through, Chandler class Delta service area approved, at or above 2,500, altimeter 3004.
3004, about 2,500, 93 Mike.
Cessna 212, runway 22 right, clear to land.
Beautiful day.
Time 22 right, 21212.
Command Chief 51 Pop, frequency change approved, good day.
51 Papa, roger, thank you, sir.
Chandler Tower, Bonanza 1018 Whiskey is ready to go, 22 right.
Bonanza 1018 Whiskey, Chandler Tower, are you able to get to the hold short?
18 Whiskey, affirm.
Bonanza 1018 Whiskey, fly runway heading, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff, traffic downwind approaching right base, Cessna.
18 Whiskey, cleared for takeoff, runway heading.
Chandler Tower, Cozy 456 Delta Papa, ready 22 right, I'll be southeastbound.
Cozy 456 Delta Papa, Chandler Tower, hold short, runway 22 right.
Holding short 22 right, Cozy 6 Delta Papa.
Chandler Tower, November 5327 Gulf Skyhawk. We're about 7 to the north, and we're inbound for a full stop with Zulu.
Skyhawk 5327 Gulf, Chandler Tower, enter right base, runway 22 right, report 2 miles.
Right base, 22 right, we'll report 2 miles, 27 Gulf.
Tower 9126 Mike's ready in sequence, 22 right, we'd like a real short delay on the runway.
Cherokee 9126 Mike, Chandler Tower, hold short, runway 22 right, number 2.
Hold short number 2, 26 Mike.
Cozy 6 Delta Pop, continue holding shorter runway 22 right and verify you did information Zulu at Chandler.
Affirmative on Zulu, sir. I'm holding short 22 right, Cozy 6 Delta Pop.
Bonanza 18 Whiskey, left turn southbound approved.
18 Whiskey, roger, thank you.
As I got to the practice area, I started lining myself up for my first maneuvers. Again, something happens on the radio that just stands out. An RV at the field, which is likely based at Deer Valley Airport across town, calls the wrong tower. Again, spidey sense. So I set up for some 360 turns from and to a specific heading while keeping it at 4,000 feet. This airplane, 658, was not one I had practiced these a lot in before. One of the tricks I was taught as you start to get used to an airplane, you can put the real horizon on a specific spot on the cowling when you're set up for certain maneuvers and be able to make yourself a little more consistent. I quickly found out that some of those cues did not work the same in this particular airplane. My first maneuver was pretty bad, and you can hear me say so. I'm going to cut out some of the dead air here for time, but you'll hear me commenting to myself that I need to do that one again. You'll also hear me notice that I had some precession going on with the heading indicator, so I had to do a minor adjustment there while I was flying straight and level to get it aligned with the wet compass again.
Chandler Tower 93, Mike, request frequency change.
Bonanza 18 Whiskey, frequency change approved.
Turn up, line up with these things here.
That's a 212, remain this frequency, taxi to runway 22 right.
212, 222 right, over. Chandler Tower 93, Mike, request frequency change.
Number 93 Mike, frequency change approved.
93 Mike.
Okay, here we go.
Terminal Cozy 456 Delta Papa, fly runway heading, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway heading, Cozy 6 Delta Papa.
Clear to the left. Yeah.
That's a 93 Mike, frequency change approved.
Deer Valley Tower, Experimental RV 247 Alpha Juliet, sit ready at runway 22 right, southeast departure.
Terminal 247 Alpha Juliet, Chandler Tower, hold short of runway 22 right.
Sorry, hold short, runway 22 right, 7 Alpha Juliet.
Cherokee 9126 Mike, momentary delay approved, fly runway heading, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading 22 right, 9126 Mike.
Okay. That's good. I'm on 160 heading. And that matches up with my wet compass.
7 Whiskey Papa, ready to go after 7 Alpha Juliet northbound.
All right, switch off that frequency. All right, now I'm on 160. I'm gonna go to the right. 4,000 feet. All right, here we go. Climbing just a bit. All right. Oh, this is terrible. It's not lining up where the other planes do. Definitely going to do that one again. Turn around here, clear. There's a helicopter over there. All right. Behind me now. Turn around here. That sight picture did not match up with any other plane I've done this in. Maybe my seating position is different. Okay, we're going to start at a heading of 340. 4,000 feet. All right, right turn. got some precision. Okay, 350. And right turn.
So I was going again on a new heading and wanted to nail this one. So I did.
A little turbulence there at the end, but that was perfect. Right on 4,000. Right on 350. Good, I can do them. I'm just going to need to practice in the plane I'm going to use for the check ride. All right, let's do some turn around here.
So now I was going to do some slow flight practice. Again, I'd try and keep it at 4,000 feet during the maneuver. And as I slowed down, I would add the flaps. Once I got the nose up high enough that it slowed down as much as it could with power at idle, I would start to add in some power just before stalling or losing altitude. This is sometimes referred to as being behind the power curve, actually adding power to slow down. Also, with the nose up attitude and a little power put back in, there's some P factor trying to yaw the airplane to the left, so you have to maintain some right rudder to counteract it. Then I would trim it up so I could just stay there and fly hands off, as you'll hear. I got it all the way down to 41 knots indicated and just flew like that for a while. Once you're all set up and trimmed, you could just keep going all day, as long as you don't bank or something and lose some lift. At that point, to finish the maneuver, I would lower the nose while adding power to speed up, but without losing any altitude. The idea is to learn to really begin to handle the airplane in various configurations and get used to getting it to do what you want it to do and kind of figuring out what to expect. Also note that sometimes I would monitor guard 1 to 1.5 while flying around, so you'll hear some testing going on in the background, so sorry for that.
All right, let's do some slow flight. At 4,000. 70 knots. Flaps come in. Going 48.5 knots. Just a bit, so I'll give it some power. Some traffic off to the left of me. Okay, I'm all trimmed up. And pegged at 4,000, not climbing or sinking, and right at 44 knots. All trimmed up, hands off. Look at that. I have some right rudder, though, to counteract the factor. Quite a bit, actually. Now I'm down to 41 knots. Still just right on the altitude.
Okay, whoever's on the ground is on guard, 121.5.
On guard, test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, test out. This is the ground on guard, test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, out.
Okay, now recover and keep it at 4,000.
At this point, I was moving on to do some stalls, which are pretty fun, actually. I was starting with a power off stall. I would reduce the power to idle and keep altitude by pitching up until the stall horn goes off and the nose breaks over. Then stop the stall by pitching down and adding power and finally using elevator to level off once the wings are flying again. All the while using rudder to keep the airplane from yawing into the start of a spin. With power off stalls, this was pretty easy, at least in these airplanes I was flying. I did a couple of them and then started adding turns to the stalls. You can hear me narrating to myself in the cockpit as I do them. When I got to the power on stalls, those can be a little harder to make happen. And because of P factor, if you're not on the rudder correctly, you can break left into the beginning of a spin. The nose is also very high, so it can be a little harder to keep track of the horizon. So you have to sort of look off to the side of the cowling to keep track of what the plane's doing. These are good, though, because they simulate pitching up too much on takeoff, and as a pilot, we should know how to quickly recognize what to do to recover or head off the stall, completely. You do this, of course, by pitching down and staying on the rudder to keep the airplane straight. One thing I was taught was that trying to use ailerons to level the wing in a stall can actually exacerbate an entry into the spin because of the added drag on one side. So the key is to use rudder appropriately. Like I said, I found them sort of fun to do, so I did a few of those while adding some turns as well.
Okay. Two stalls here. Do a power off stall. Okay. Try that one more time. Okay. Try a power off stall with a turn to the left. Okay. Power off stall with a turn to the right. Okay. Alright, let's try a power on stall. Okay, power on stall with a turn to the right. Okay. Power on stall with a turn to the left. Okay.
By this time, I was ready to head in and do some short field and soft field landings. The first thing I do is grab the hiatus information so I'm ready to come back into the airport area. Turns out it hadn't changed since I'd departed. It was still information Zulu.
I'm gonna go in and do some soft and short landings. Good hiatus. Okay. 3, 2.
Runway 22 right, 22 left. Notice airmen, multiple obstructions in the vicinity of Chandler Airport, up to 310 AJL. Caution bird activity in the vicinity of Chandler. Departures advise ground, direction of flight, advise initial contact information, Zulu. Chandler Airport information, Zulu. Time 1448 Zulu. Wind 220 at 6, visibility 30, sky condition 25,000, scattered, temperature 27, dew point 19er, altimeter 3003. Visual approach is in use, line departing runway 22 right, 22 left. Notice airmen, multiple obstructions in the vicinity of...
In a few minutes, I was getting close to the Delta, so I made my call for some touch and goes.
Chandler Tower, Cherokee 81658, 6 miles south, 3,100 feet, inbound for touch and goes with Zulu.
Cherokee 81658, Chandler Tower, make left traffic, runway 22 left.
Make left traffic for 22 left, Cherokee 658.
So I go through a couple of flows as I'm heading back, and then I get my clearance. I was going to start with a soft field landing.
All right. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on. Pull this tank. Mixture rich for the density altitude. Belts. I think we're all good. Okay, there's traffic pattern altitude. And 100 RPM.
Cherokee 658, runway 22 left, clear touch and go, then make left, close traffic.
Clear touch and go and left traffic, Cherokee 658. Okay, I'm going to do a soft field first.
As I got into the traffic pattern and got a beam the landing point, I started my procedures for getting it down softly. We'll take it from there. I didn't talk very much to myself this time, so I cut out some dead air. It took a minute or two to get on the ground, but for you all, it'll go much faster. You'll notice that on the go part of my touch and go, I make a startled sort of noise as a bird almost decided to end its life on my windshield. Crisis averted, though, as the bird took effective evasive action. Here you go.
All right, there's a beam. 50, good. 1. Hey.
Helicopter 910 Charlie, taxiway Charlie, clear for the option.
Clear for the option, taxiway Charlie, 790 Charlie.
Okay. Nice soft touch. Whoa. Bird almost got us. Or we almost got the bird.
This time I decided to do a short field landing. I'll let that play, and again, I'll take out some nonsense to save you time.
Okay, I'll do a short field this time. Alright, there's traffic pattern altitude.
Cherokee 658, runway 22 left, cleared touch and go.
Cleared touch and go, 22 left, Cherokee 658.
Chandler Tower, Cessna 246 Bravo Charlie, ready to go on 2 right.
Alright.
Cessna 6 Bravo Charlie, contact tower on 126.1 for departure.
Got a 1700 for the extra length. 1 notch. 1, 2, 3.
Helicopter 90 Charlie, taxiway Charlie, cleared for the option.
Taxiway Charlie, clear for the option, over 7190 Charlie.
Fast and high. I put it on top of the 2s. Okay, there's my 63 knots. Wasn't bad.
All right, I would do another short field on this one. I was aiming just above the 2s on the runway. On my climb, I thought I felt a little wind shear. It could have just been regular low-level summer turbulence from the heat coming off the tarmac. Either way, it got my attention.
Cherokee 658, runway 22 left, clear touch and go.
Clear touch and go, 22 left, Cherokee 658. Okay, 1700. Okay. Right on the 2s. Over the 2s.
Helicopter 14 Victor approaching South Point.
Helicopter 14 Victor, make left, close traffic, taxiway Charlie, clear for the option.
Clear for the option on Charlie, left traffic, 14 Victor.
Whoa. A little wind shear there.
So at this point, I decided to do 2 more. The first one being a soft field touch and go, and I would make my final landing a full stop short field. Here's the final 2, again with the time shortened a bit. I didn't talk all that much except to note a rabbit running across the runway. I'm wondering now why he needed to get to the other side. Anyway, I was fairly pleased with both landings, but critiqued myself a bit as I taxied in. Here you go, all the way with me to the ramp.
Okay, I'll make this one a full stop soft. Oh no, I'll do one more after this, make it a short.
Cherokee 658, runway 22 left, clear touch and go.
Clear touch and go, 22 left, Cherokee 658.
Channel Tower Helicopter 14 Victor, Charlie in November, like to reposition to the ramp.
Helicopter 14 Victor via taxiway Charlie, proceed as requested.
Proceeding as requested, 14 Victor.
Helicopter 562, descend to your discretion. The other helicopter went to the helipad. Make left traffic at the helipad, clear to land.
Roger, 562, descend at our discretion. We're still going to go to the missed approach point if that's approved.
Helicopter 562, maintain at or above 2,500. Traffic, short final, opposite direction of the Cherokee in the pattern.
Roger, we'll maintain 2,500, 562. We'll let you know when we're at missed approach point.
Helicopter 562, roger.
Star 562, go on missed approach.
Helicopter 562 at the helipad, cleared to land.
At the helipad, clear to land, I look up 562.
Rabbit on the runway. Alright, I'll make this one a short.
Tower 2943 Foxtrot, 2 miles on the 45, traffic upwind in sight. What we'd like to get on this is a short approach if we can.
Aero 43 Foxtrot, short approach, approved, runway 22, left cleared, touch and go, then make left close traffic.
Thank you.
Helicopter 562, wind able squawk 1200.
Squawk VFR, helicopter 562.
Cherokee 658, follow the arrow ahead and to your left on downwind.
We have the traffic and we'll follow 658. They're doing a short approach, so I can be pretty close. They're going to beat me down by a long way.
Chandler, report information. Alpha is current, altimeter 3004.
Okay, pitch. Power. Alright, where'd my boy go? There they are. Alright, I'm going to do a short field.
Cherokee 658, number 2, follow company traffic, runway 22 left, clear touching off.
We'd like to make this one a full stop, please, 658.
Cherokee 658, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Clear to land on 22 left, Cherokee 658. Nice. Did the job.
And another short approach for 43 Fox, that's okay.
After landing, flaps up,
Tower 43 Foxtrot, approved as requested, runway 22 left, clear touching off.
Thanks.
Unnecessary electrical.
Code 658, continuing taxi, remain in strict frequency, hold short of runway 22 right.
We'll continue taxiing, remain with you, and hold short of 22 right, Cherokee 658.
Cherokee 658, continue crossing, taxiing, turn left on 22 right, right at Mike and taxi ramp on the ground.
Okay, we'll enter 22 right, turn left, turn right on Mike, and contact ground, Cherokee 658.
And Cherokee 658, you can just monitor the frequency and taxiing to the ramp.
All right, we'll monitor ground. Thank you, 658. That wasn't bad. I feel like I'm making progress. These landings were definitely acceptable. The only problem I had really on them was I wasn't always right on the center line. But that last one was definitely a short field. I easily made the first taxiway turnoff and could have done it a couple hundred feet short of it.
All right, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm glad you could join me in this solo flight. As usual, I would love to hear from you, so reach out to me in one of a few ways. My email address is bill@studentpilotcast.com, and you can reach me from the website, of course, at studentpilotcast.com, and click the contact link near the top. Also, you can use the website to comment on specific episodes as well. Finally, you can find me on Twitter too. @BillWill is my Twitter name. That's BILLWIL. Thanks again for listening. I love these solo flights where I could just practice maneuvers and critique myself. Flying alone was still exhilarating as the responsibility for the aircraft really lay completely with me. I was getting better. I was subconsciously noticing things that were out of place, and my situational awareness was getting more keen. And it was another 1.1 in the logbook. I was starting to pick up some of the little things. I really was going to be a pilot. Music for today's episode is To Be an Angel by the Canadian band Uncle Seth. You can get more information and subscribe to the podcast feeds on the web at studentpilotcast.com. Remember, any instruction that you hear in this podcast was meant for me and for me alone in the situation I was in at the time. Please do not try to blindly apply anything you see or hear in this podcast to your own flying without thinking it through on your own completely. If you have questions about any aspect of your flying, please consult a qualified CFI.